Hey guys, and welcome back to the second week of the Sports Chill Football Experience. I'm here with my main men, Mark and Dave. What's up, guys?
Hey, what's going on?
What's going on, James?
Let's just get right into it. Let's start with the New York Football Giants. For the first time since 2009, the Giants are 2-0. They beat the Saints 16-13. Eli Manning, again, elite. He's now 10th all-time in passing yards. And I'm going to throw it over to my man, the Giant fan, Mark. Mark, what do you got for me? What impressed you the most?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you saw, James's column, you saw some of his stuff that he highlighted from the win, but I posted something earlier in the week focusing on the Giants' defense, and that's what really impressed me the most. The fact that going into this game, everyone thought it was going to be a shootout, everyone, and although the offense kind of struggled with their turnovers, the defense is what kept them in the game. Obviously, if you're checking out the Vines on the TheSportsChill, you saw the blocked field goal, you saw Landon Collins with a couple of sacks, you saw everybody contributing. The defense was, the same thing. From week one, they looked good. Week two, they look even better, and they're just continuing the role.
Cool, yeah. And you just mentioned the Vine. That was pretty ridiculous. I just put up a Vine of Landon Collins with a good tackle. Like he stepped up and just got a tackle. But 36 retweets, not to brag, pretty good. Just saying, we hit 500,000 loops on the Vine this week, $500,000. Pretty good on the sportschill.com fire. Okay. The thing that impressed, I like what you said. I loved your article this week on defense. Eli Manning, 368 yards.
Yep.
I mean, he didn't get any touchdowns, but like Odell drops one, you get to the 1 yard line. I mean, he did all the right things. 104.1 quarterback rating. Did everything he needed to do. The guy that pressed me the most on offense, even though Victor Cruz had the biggest play of the game, Sterling Shepard, 8 catches, 117 yards. Biggest disappointment, even though he had 8 catches, 86 yards, was Odell Beckham. Mm-hmm. He disappointed me a little bit. You got to make catches if you have the best hands in football.
Yeah, he dropped that touchdown pass, which at that point they were driving and looking to score. Was that the fourth down I think that they went for? I know that, yeah. I know they were driving.
It was third down. It was third down.
Okay. I knew they were driving there, and then the fact is him dropping a ball in the end zone. And when I saw it was Odell, I'm like, oh, he's got it, no doubt. And then all of a sudden he comes out without the ball, and you're like, what's going on over there?
Yeah, so Eli missed to to Odell on the second, and then third down was to Cruz on the right side where he just goes up. And then, then the Giants, played smart football again. Neal, field goal. Josh Brown's back. I'm not going to really mention him. I don't really respect him a lot right now. So we'll move on. Giants 2-0. And you know what? Let's get a little happiness meter for my man Mark. What do we got now this week?
I mean, last week I was a 6. I was trying to curb my enthusiasm, trying to keep it a little bit low. But I'm about a 7.5 right now. I'm riding pretty high because fact is the defense looks good. The offense, as you mentioned, no touchdowns, but they looked good. They moved the ball. A couple of turnovers that you don't expect them to have every week. And the fact is the time management. You mentioned it just recently, just now. The time management from last year to this year is completely different. And to be honest with you, last year's team doesn't win these 2 games. This year's team is different. New guys, new roster, new coach, new era in Giants football. Ben McAdoo era, 2 wins in a row. I'm happy. 7.5 for me.
Okay, and I'm going to give my happiness rating before we get to Jets. My happiness rating is an 8.4. I'm not going to go too high. I'm not going to go over the top.
It's pretty specific.
I will say 8.4. No, it's not for my man Larry Donnell either. 8.4 because if you make the playoffs, the Giants are a dangerous wild card. They're always a wild card, and they always win when they're a wild card team. I don't want them to be that good because that makes me scared the most is when they're supposed to win. Yeah. I want them right even keel. 8.4 happiness meter, and let's move on. G-Men, you're doing a great job. Okay. Second, we're going to talk about Dave's Jets. The Jets had their way on offense all night Thursday against Rex and the Buffalo Bills. Marshall, Decker, Enunwa, they all played outstanding, and Matt Forte, he had 3 touchdowns, looked like a perfect fit for the offense, like Dave mentioned last week. Dave, if you're Todd Bowles, who are you giving the game ball to?
It was really nice to see Quincy Enunwa step up and make those big plays, especially when Marshall got got hurt, or it seemed like I yelled at the TV. I said, "That's it, season's over. Marshall's done."
That looked bad.
And I think we all saw that. But as much as I want to give it to Enunwa, I got to give it to Forte. I mean, the guy's putting up Madden-like numbers, and to do it at this age, he really had something to prove coming into this season. He was a lifelong Bear. And, kind of getting a fresh start, said he wanted to come to the Jets to win a Super Bowl. And so far, he's looked like a hungry guy. He gets the game ball.
Yeah, who would have thought when the motto by Drake came out, what, like 8 years ago, that Matt Forte got the big running back, like that would still be relevant today because that was pretty amazing. Mark, any thoughts on the Jets?
Yeah, I mean, the Jets look good. I mean, obviously on offense, because I'm not a Jets fan, I'm a big Bilal Powell fan. I have him on my fantasy teams. I'm waiting for Matt Forte to break down. I really don't think he can keep it up. He's getting a lot of touches. I think he's on pace for 250 or more than that touches. So eventually, you think they have to kind of mix in Powell a little bit just to keep him fresh. If you want to, have this team with the long run go into the postseason, but they look good. The offense looked good. The defense looked good. I know we spoke about it last week a little bit with
Did they though?
I mean, they looked okay. I mean, the pass rush was getting there. That's what I wanted to jump into, the fact of Darrelle Revis. We spoke about it a little bit last week. He gets burned again on another deep ball. Are they going to start changing him around, changing his scheme around? Or they're kind of leaving him on his own island where Todd Bowles' scheme is not like that. That scheme is more of a zone scheme. He should have help over the top. He looks like he's getting hung out to dry, and he can't cover these guys one-on-one anymore.
Gotcha. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. And I got another question for Dave. So the Patriots, Brady's out for 4 games now, and then Jimmy G takes over. He played amazing, and then now he might be out this week. All signs are pointing to Jacoby Brissett being the quarterback for week 3. Does that situation affect the Jets in any way?
It could affect the Jets, but looking at New England's schedule, first going back to what you were mentioning about Jimmy G, we don't know because now, right before, as of this podcast recording, I'm reading that the Patriots are kind of pushing Jimmy G to come back. They really need him for Thursday night, and it's bad for them that it's on a short week, but there are reports that he can't even lift his arm yet they're going to want him to line up under center on Thursday.
That's just the Patriots, so they always want to play the game, especially with the injury report and all that stuff. That's Belichick and him playing this game. And
supposedly they've kind of whispered in Jimmy G's ear that we've seen Brady play through these kind of injuries before, so that's classic Belichick and the Pats there. But I mean, Jacoby Brissett, if they're preparing him as the starter right now. And going into this game versus Houston's defense looked really good last week. They were all over Alex Smith. Got some big stops, kept everyone in check. So even though Brissett was a small sample size and he was kind of he didn't make any mistakes, we're going to see what it's like throughout 4 quarters if he indeed is the starter. And big week for the Jets because now the Jets and Pats are 1-1 both. I'm sorry. Pats are 2-0, Jets are 1-1. This might be their chance to kind of climb up into that first place spot and try to jockey before Brady comes back.
Yeah, and let me tell you this, though. The Texans are favored by 2.5 points. I don't care if I'm starting at quarterback this week. The Patriots are always the pick. Yeah. You don't bet against Bill Belichick. He sold to the devil. He deflates balls. He will do anything to win football games. And you're going to tell me that he's not going to have a good defensive scheme for Brock Osweiler? I mean, the guy's started like 9 games. We don't stat check on SportsShill.com fire, but I mean, I'm taking the Patriots big time. Yeah, give me the points too.
With
Safe
Belichick,
to say, yeah.
Belichick is always a scheme guy. I mean, he doesn't from week to week. You never know what you're going to get as far as the offense or the defense. You look at someone like Martellus Bennett. First week, he's in there blocking everybody. He's playing well as a tight end, but he's getting no look, catching the ball or anything. And all of a sudden, week 2, he's an offensive threat. He's getting the ball downfield. He's getting touchdowns. So week to week, they can come up with a scheme, and I'm sure they're going to do that with Brissett at quarterback. They'll make sure that they give the ball to Blount, they give the ball to James White, and whoever else they need to. They give him enough time to be successful.
And the funniest thing about it is that Bill Belichick, he wants Jimmy G to come back like crazy, but like Gronk, there's no concern about Gronk. Oh, Gronk, don't worry about it. You can come back in week 9 if you want. Which, I mean, it makes the most sense. I mean, don't rush Gronk ever. But yet when you have Grady, when you have, honestly, a top 3 quarterback of all time waiting angrily for week 5, I mean, it's the right move. I mean, it's the right move to have him to want to play. If I'm Jimmy G, I'm sitting out. I'm gonna make so much money if I don't play another game this year. I am gonna be making hundreds of millions of dollars. So if I'm Jimmy G, I'm just I just can't do it. I just can't do it. Okay. I wanted to mention one thing about the other thing about the Jets game because we are Bill's Mafia on the site now.
Yep.
We have a little bit, Nask is continuing to do a great job. The people love those articles. Like legitimately, I enjoy them too, obviously because they're #fire. But the Bills go out and they chopped offensive coordinator Greg Roman, and you just really got to wonder what's going on here. They legitimately scored 31 points against one of the best defensive lines in football.
Yeah.
And, I don't understand it. The only explanation I have is that Rex is nervous. He's really nervous right now. They're 0-2. He knows that if they go like 4-12 this year, he's getting chopped. So what do? You fire the most paid offensive coordinator in the National Football League because you know what? Greg Roman's actually is going to be somewhere else. He would have been in Buffalo next year, but he'll be a head coach. Whether it's in Buffalo, probably not anymore. But he'll find a job. He'll find a job somewhere. So
you can't fire your brother, so you got to fire the other guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, yeah, exactly. Then he would have no one to eat buffalo wings with. So, okay. Now I got to ask you something. We're getting into a little bit of our segments. This segment is called Right Now. Okay. Who do you think the best rivalry in the NFL is right now? Dave, go first.
I'm going to go Pittsburgh-Cincinnati. This one really has...
Stole mine! God damn it.
Did I steal both yours? Because I saw James react too. Wow. So that's what happens when we don't discuss beforehand, I guess, who the rivalry was. But I'm definitely glad that I went first now. Pittsburgh-Cincinnati, this one's really gained a lot of steam as of late. One of my close friends is a Steelers fan, and we had this conversation at the beginning of the season. I said, who do you hate the most? I thought he was going to say the Ravens. Even though the Ravens haven't been good, they've always been heated rivals. He goes, I hate Cincinnati. I wish, injuries on all the Bengals. And I was surprised to hear that, but I guess it makes sense. I mean, they played one of the best playoff games last year when Jeremy Hill fumbled. Pretty much Cincinnati was going to win that game. They're in the smash mouth AFC North. Those teams hate each other, so yeah. I definitely think that's the best rivalry right now.
Yeah, I mean that was definitely mine as well. I'll give my second choice, and that's going to be Seattle Seahawks and Arizona Cardinals team over in NFC West. NFC West. I feel like they always battle. I feel like it's always a defensive game. It's always a close game. That division, when the 49ers were good and the Cardinals and Seahawks were kind of coming around, and that was a strong division in football. Now it's gotten a little bit weaker, but I still like that matchup. It's always going to be a hard-nosed football, especially if it's in Seattle, with the fans there. I feel like that's a good game. That's a good rivalry there. But I still think Steelers and Bengals is definitely the best rivalry right now in football.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I agree with Dave. But I don't want to agree, so I'm just going to say that the Cowboys and the Giants are the best rivalry because every single week that I have to see Tony Romo anywhere, even though he wasn't even on the screen, I had to hear his name. It makes me sick to my stomach to see Jerry Jones. So Giants. I mean, it's more of a it's a homer pick. It's a homer pick for sure. But yeah, the real answer is Bengals Steelers because Joey Porter legitimately wanted to fight. He's a coach, and he wanted to fight players last year. You have Vontaze Burfict legitimately knocking people out with concussions. Antonio Brown said today that he doesn't have any animosity towards Vontaze Burfict, but I'm pretty sure he's just saying that so he doesn't end up on a stretcher next time they play. Okay. Another right now. We had right after the Redskins game against the Cowboys, the Redskins lost 27-23, and our man Josh Norman, he loses.
Not my man.
He has to take. Oh, yeah, no, he's no one's man. But, no, actually, he's both your guys' man. After the loss, he had to go and take a drug test. Yeah. So, what are your thoughts on this? Right after the game.
I mean, the way that all the drugs and everything that's going on right now, I'm not opposed to it. I mean, the guys take stuff for the games. they take painkillers and stuff for after the games. But I'm sure there's some uppers that they take before the game that is probably can get out of your system, within 24 hours or whatnot. So if they take it the morning of a game day, by the next morning, if they come in and have to take a drug test, they can probably get some stuff out of their system. So the NFL is trying to be a little bit proactive. Listen, the cheaters are always going to be ahead. They always have the test afterwards. They always try to change everything, but the cheater is always going to be ahead. The NFL is trying to combat that and try and get the guy right after the game. And I know he wasn't happy about it.
But Mark, you actually think that he could get it out of his system in one day?
I mean, if there's stuff that's not stuff that kind of runs through or something I don't know. I'm not a drug expert. I don't take any steroids. I don't juice. I don't do any of that. So I wouldn't know. But I'm sure there's stuff that they could take, like some type of uppers or something that they might be able to, with all their sweat and all their adrenaline and all that drains out of their body, that might be able to get out the next day. And it's funny to me because when I read the story and it was Josh Norman, I just laughed because I can't stand the guy. That's Deshaun Jackson used to be the guy that I hate the most in the NFL. Josh Norman has replaced him.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I think the NFL may be onto something because they might have been looking at our Twitter page because, we're huge guys that, never trust the man with two first names. Yeah. So they were like, Josh Norman, two first names. Mm-hmm. Played all right this week. I don't actually know if he did or not. I'm not stat checking on that one. It's the Washington Redskins and the Cowboys. I did not want to see that game.
Brian got him a couple of times, so he didn't play that well.
Yeah, well, exactly. And also, he had two first names. The NFL was like, Kamesh was like, let's get that guy tested. Sportschill.com fire knows what's good. Dave, I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much indifferent on it. I think everyone knows that random drug testing is not random at all. It's anything but. That's just an excuse that they can hit you with it, spring you up on it, anytime they want. I don't see why, because usually when players dominate, that's when they randomly get drug tested. I mean, baseball is a perfect example of that, but it's not like Norman was shutting things down. If he had 3 interceptions and didn't allow a single catch, maybe you might drug test him, but I think that's more on the offensive side of the ball that you might test somebody randomly after a game.
Well, maybe it could have been the roid rage, too. They know that he was saying a lot of outrageous comments, and they were like, roid rage. Let's check this. I don't know. All right, let's move on to another right now, and this is our final right now. Who is the best team in the NFL right now? Dave, go.
I'm going to go Denver. I know a lot of people are on the Pittsburgh train. I'm just not on it yet. I don't know what it is. I mean, they had a convincing win versus Cincinnati, but Pittsburgh's not the team for me right now. I'm going Denver. That defense picked up right where it's left off after the Super Bowl. You have DeMarcus Ware out now with a broken arm for a few weeks. But on the other side of the ball, you have Trevor Siemian, who he's looking confident. He's definitely, you could tell he spent some time with Peyton, last season before he retired, being able to lead the offense out there. C.J. Anderson, a guy that's on my fantasy team, I'm loving it right now. He's doing really well. And if they can get, Sanders and Demaryius Thomas a little bit more involved, if those guys can get going and become real, true threats like they should be, I mean, this team's going to be, forget the division, they can try to repeat again. So as of this, right now, week 2 going into week 3, I got Denver.
Okay. Mark?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I got to go the Patriots. I mean, as much as I hate them, the way that they're getting it done without Gronk, without Brady, they're just, I mean, the Cardinals, obviously, the Dolphins aren't a great team. We understand that. But the Cardinals, everyone thought the Cardinals were going to run through them with Garoppolo quarterback in week 1. They take care of week 1. They put up the huge lead when Garoppolo's in there in week 2. Ended up, having a little bit of a scary ending towards that. I thought maybe the Dolphins were going to come back. But the fact is, they're dominating without their 2 best players. And when they get back, I'm sure Brady and Gronk are going to be ready to go. So as much as I hate to say it, I'm going to go the Patriots.
Yeah, and I'm going to say the same exact thing. Because Gronk was out, and Jimmy Garoppolo, fun fact, Jimmy Garoppolo in the first quarter had 237 passing yards.
Yep.
That was more than Tom Brady ever had in the first quarter. So the Patriots system works.
Yep.
And you know what? The evil empire of the NFL, Bill Belichick, you can do this all you want. Bill Belichick knows how to coach. So, the answer is the Patriots for me. Okay, and now we are going to do another segment.
You're the man now, dog.
Let's do a You're the man now, dog. Mark, why don't you start us off?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go. I mean, obviously, this is a New York show. We're doing a New York podcast. I'm going to stay in New York. I'm going to go my man, Jack Rabbit, Janoris Jenkins. He is more than advertised. He is someone that in the first 2 games has really impressed me. Obviously, the field goal block for a return for a touchdown, that was a great play. But him on defense, he's all over the place. He's locking down guys. He played well against Dez in game 1. He was shutting down guys in week 2 as well. So my guy is Janoris Jenkins. He's better than advertised. Everyone was saying, he kind of doesn't keep his head in the game and he takes a lot of risks. But with that front seven, with that defensive line, Janoris Jenkins is going to have a field day with quarterbacks the entire year. The fact is he's covering those guys, he's playing well, and he's getting coverage sacks as well for the team. So my guy is Janoris Jenkins. You're the man now, dog.
Okay, cool. Dave?
All right, I'm going to go with NFL rookies, especially quarterbacks. You have, we already knew about Dak. Carson Wentz showing up big in week 2, hasn't had a turnover yet for the Eagles. But now you have guys like Cody Kessler, possibly Jacoby Brissett. So, NFL QB rookies definitely showing up big early in the season. And they're not just guys that are filling in and being, spot starters like the Cleveland Browns have had so many years, or, other teams out there. So right now I'm going to say you're the man now, dog. NFL rookies.
All right, cool. Yeah, I had a few, and I'm gonna have to bring it down to this. You're the man now, dog, again, and it's gonna be to Kelvin Benjamin. Kelvin Benjamin is back, and he's better than ever. Mm-hmm. I know he has 2 first names, and I know that's a little disrespected to do on the SportsChill.com Fire, but Kelvin Benjamin last week killed it again, consistently showing that the Panthers are a dangerous, dangerous, dangerous football team. They're my Super Bowl pick in the NFC. I know, how crazy of a pick for me, but no, I mean, he is the reason. He is the reason. Kelvin Benjamin, you the man now, dog. Okay, let's get into a few game previews. The Giants play the Redskins Sunday at 1. I want, 20-second prediction, score, and your player of the game. Mark.
I'm going to go with the Giants. I had earlier in the year previewing the season that I didn't think the Redskins were going to be that good. I know they're in desperation mode, but I think that the Giants are running on all cylinders. I think the guy that steps up and has the game is Odell Beckham. He's going to come ready to play. He's going to go at Josh Norman, if Norman even covers him, because I know he likes to stay on one side of the field, but I'm giving it to Odell, game ball. I think Giants 31-10. I think they take it easily.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to say that the Giants are going to win 24-21. I think it's going to be a close game because the Giants always play close games. And I think the player of the game is going to be Eli Apple. I think Eli Apple's going to have an interception. We're going to start selling some how do you like them Apple shirts. I think that's the way to go. Eli Apple is going to have the interception that ends the game against Kirk Cousins, who's stinking it up right now, and there's a little bit of rumblings in that locker room. So be warned. Be warned. Dave, I know you're not a Giants fan, but give your prediction.
Yeah, I think that the Giants, where is that, MetLife, or is this in Washington?
We don't stat check on sports, so that's
right. Not Either way, I got the Giants taking this one easily. Kirk Cousins under a lot of heat right now, and it seems like some of his teammates are starting to turn on him. That was a big divisional game they lost last week versus Dallas. So I feel like when it rains, it pours in Washington, and it's going to happen once again. Giants are going to take this one blowout easily. And I definitely think that if there's one game that OBJ is going to break out, it's going to be this one. Because Shepard, the rookies, had back-to-back good games. Cruz had the catch of the game late. And now it's Odell's turn. So
yeah, you were right. It was at MetLife, and all right, we're on agreement about it. Big Blue, how you doing? How you been? And I believe Mark's wearing Lawrence Taylor jersey, so and you got blue on, and I got the fire on, so we're good. We're good. All right, moving on. Jets versus Chiefs, Sunday at 4:25. So we got a little late game. We can relax. We can zone in on Fitzmagic. I'm gonna turn it over to Goldie first. Dave, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, this one's going to be at Arrowhead, which is always a tough place to play. Chiefs stunk it up last week. They had 3 first-half fumbles. Alex Smith was sacked 4 times. No touchdowns, only 4 field goals for the Chiefs, and they only had 291 yards of total offense. So what are all these random stats that I'm throwing at you mean? Well, Smith sacked 4 times. I think the Jets can easily do that, if not more. They're going to be in his grill all day again. As they were to Andy Dalton in week 1. I think that if they can slow down Spencer Ware and that running game, that's going to be big for them. Revis, if he starts taking on Macklin, that's going to be big now because I think Revis is starting to feel the heat, starting to feel the pressure a little bit. Goodwin, a guy who was really fast last week, burnt him. We know what happened with AJ Green in week 1. That's one of the matchups to look for. But keeping the pressure on Alex Smith is going to be a big, big key to this game. And then we'll see on the offensive side of the ball what happens. You have Decker's banged up. Marshall's banged up. Anunwa is even a little banged up. So with all those guys ailing a little bit, and we don't even know which of those three, if 2 of the 3 most likely are probably going to play, we don't know who that's going to be. So the big key on offense for me, get Forte going early, get Powell going early. Mark earlier had mentioned that he wants to see Powell get going, get a little bit more involved. I think this is the week that it's going to happen. I think you're going to see a lot of those short passes in the flats. You're going to see some of those swing passes, and hopefully, they can open some space up downfield because that's going to be big if the Jets want to go into Arrowhead and come out with a win.
Okay, and I was gonna have the Jets, but now that you just told me that it's at Arrowhead, I'm gonna say 24-0 Chiefs at Arrowhead.
Wow, that's aggressive.
They don't mess
Super
around
aggressive.
at Arrowhead. I'm sorry to say it, and I know Flex is gonna kill me because I know that he just wrote an article that we're about to post tomorrow, and once he sees that I just said 24-0 Chiefs, maybe I just want to be a little outlandish. But yesterday, not to brag, I did say that your Eagles were gonna win by 17 points. They won by 15, so I'm a little bit of a guru. Watch out. Yeah, that's pretty ridiculous. Mark, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a close game. Obviously, the defenses are going to play a big part to it. I think I'm right at the edge. It could go either way. I think the score is going to be like 24-21. Honestly, I think it could be either team. So we flip a coin and you can say who my prediction is going to be. I think because it's in Arrowhead, I'm going to stick with the Chiefs. But honestly, I could see it going either way.
Yeah, no. My real pick is 24-17 Chiefs. Okay.
I was going to say 24-0. That was a little aggressive, especially the way you came out of the gate.
How to do it to him. Okay. And now for, everyone's favorite segment. I know it's only been a week, but the people love it. It's called Top 5.
Top five.
Top five.
Okay. This week we're doing Top 5 favorite fictional characters. Who wants to go first?
Mark, you got it, because I'm sure
first,
you're going to overlap.
Yeah, so when we say fictional characters, obviously we're talking about, movies or TV shows or whatever, but remember the Titans is not included in this because they are a real team, or else it would be the total top 5 would be if Remember the Titans players, obviously.
Easy.
Bertier and Julius Campbell and everyone there. So not going to mention those. So this is going to be a little bit of a wordplay here. My number 5 pick is actually Luther LeVay, which is the linebacker from Any Given Sunday. He was Shark, which was LT. So I'm not sure if that counts, considering that he is a real player, but it was a fictional character.
No, that counts.
So
it's all fun and games.
So he's going to be my number 5. My number 4, I'm going with Booby Miles. Let Booby spin. You got to love Booby. Had the knee injury. Still going out there. Still trying to play. Wasn't able to get it done. So Booby Miles, my number 4.
You want to win, put Booby in.
That's true.
You want to win, put Booby in.
My number 2 is going to be Willie Beeman. Steamin' Willie Beeman. Obviously another guy from Any Given Sunday. The guy that was the backup quarterback comes in. Young guy, flashy, fun. He was a guy that, one of my favorite characters out there. 1 and 2 are tough. It's kind of a tie for me, but I'm going to go number 2. I'm going to go with the Icebox, Becky O'Shea. The Icebox. If you think about it, you think about Brady and Belichick, and we'll tie this all together. But the fact is, without Brady and without Gronk, the Patriots are still a good team. Without Icebox, Little Giants were terrible. They're getting blown out. All of a sudden, Icebox comes in with the cheerleader bottom. Those are pads on. And all of a sudden, they come back in the second half and win the game. So,
whoa, no spoilers.
Oh, come on. If you haven't seen Little Giants already, I don't know what you're doing with your life.
That's your
all
homework.
Right,
Go watch
I
that
just got
movie
a question for you, though.
I got my number 1 still coming.
Oh, okay.
That was my number 2. My number 1, Tim Riggins.
Wow.
Do you not want to be Tim Riggins? I mean, this guy has got the looks. He's got the girls. He gets with both of the main girls in the show. He gets with Lila and with Tyra, I think was the other girl initially. So gets with both of the girls. Good-looking guy. Hard-nosed player. Someone that goes out there and gives it his all every week. Riggins is my number 1. So that's my top 5.
Okay, so you pretty much are saying that Well, I was just gonna first say that is it a coincidence that you're wearing the LT jersey, the Giants number 56, Becky O'Shea, Lawrence Taylor's coincidence? I
No.
think not.
No.
I think not. All right, Dave. Great list.
right.
Great list, by the way.
Yeah, solid list, especially because I have a bunch of them on there.
Yeah.
I had Willie Beeman coming at number 5. I love the music video, the My Name Is Willie music video.
Yep.
Love it, gotta love it. Jamie Foxx, and I knew I was gonna have a player from Any Given Sunday, but I didn't realize how hard it was gonna be. You had forgot his name. Was it Julius Washington? Was LL right?
Yeah.
I had him on the list. I had a few guys, but I had to go with Willie Beeman coming in number 5. Number 4, I had Booby also.
Yeah.
Try watching that scene where he breaks his leg and it's just like heartbreaking.
Yeah.
He wasn't supposed to be in the game. Should have kept him on the sidelines. Could have found his helmet. Bobby Boucher coming in number 3, the Water Boy. Classic player. Yeah, I knew James was going to appreciate that one. Got him at number 3. I got Hot Hands coming in at number 2. Cashing the toilet paper, the spinning. Love it. Gotta go with Hot Hands number 2. And then I'm surprised, Mark, you didn't have him on your list, but I guess I respect you for stepping away from the cliche. Yeah. Shane Falco number 1.
Yeah.
How could you not love Keanu just leading the charge in the replacements?
I don't know. I can't like a guy that he tanked the game. One of the biggest games of his career. He tanks it just for the betters. I can't get over that.
The man lives on a boat.
Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth. Put some respect on that Shane Falco name. Put some respect on that Shane Falco.
The guy lives by his rules, though. I mean, he lives on a boat. He does what he wants.
Listen,
what do you want from the guy?
As someone that's played sports my whole life, if I knew someone ever tanked the game on purpose, I would never be able to be friends with that person ever again. So that's why he was off my list.
So do you actually know, because there's more to the story after what happens to Shane Falco, right? So after he retires, goes off, yeah. So the story is that he... Go ahead, you were saying something?
Go on.
No, I was going to say... Yeah, so there's a story afterwards that he goes to a bar, starts drinking, he gets into some debt, and then he actually winds up coaching a Little League team in the inner city. And, it's just all one big story.
Ties it all together.
Merges together. I'm not going to bring up the name because it has the B word in it, but if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, don't bring up that sport, but
no.
R.I.P.G. baby. R.I.P.G. baby.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wow, so you guys, took a lot of mine, but thank God I'm ready for whatever. Okay. Number 5. I'm going to have to go with my man, and people forget this, Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
People forget that he was a kick returner at Alabama. He might have won a Heisman Trophy. Maybe it was fake, maybe it was real. We don't stat check on the sportsshow.com fire. That's my number 5.
He played for Nick Saban, right? That was him?
Nick Saban, the football guy. Yeah, don't get me started with him. I can go on the biggest rant, but I didn't even want to bring in any NCAA stuff because I'll talk about it for days. All right, number 4, Cheeseburger Eddie. He was out in jail. He was playing against the cops. What was he doing? He was slinging cheeseburgers. Do you want pickles on it? Do you not? Cheeseburger Eddie's got it for you. The guy who was in, I forget his name, the actor's name. I'm not going to stat check, but he's in all the Old Spice commercials with the huge muscles. If I didn't, I would show you the same exact kind of muscles if I didn't have a sweatshirt on. But yeah, I'll move on. Number 3, Rod Tidwell from Jerry Maguire.
Show me the money.
Show me the money, Jerry. Show me the money. Okay? What else do you really have to say about the guy? His bathroom scene was one of the best scenes of all time. And I'll just leave it at that. We did a little bit of Little Giants stuff. So I'm not going to put it on my list, but my favorite person from the Little Giants, Spike.
Yeah.
Obviously my favorite. The kid was 12 years old and he was doing pull-ups he was a fifth year running back. Ridiculous. But I've done 3 already. So my number 2 is going to be Air Bud. People forget that Air Bud was actually an immaculate retriever. So, just going out there. We don't really know about his college and pro days, but Air Bud, you kidding me? Golden retriever catching balls out there. What a pup. What a pup.
Do we have
Don't
his
even
40
argue
time?
with me. What's up?
Do we have his 40 time?
I think it was I think he ran a 4.1, like flat. 4.1
Wow,
flat. I mean, it's a dog.
Yeah.
A
How
dog.
could you not?
Legitimately.
Right.
And number one was tough because they're kind of the same person. This one was tough, and I'll give one of them my honorable mentions. You guys know that I like to have like 7 prepared just in case. But my number one is Nigel Gruff from the Replacements.
Wow, like it.
The kicker, out smoking bogues, making bets, not a lifestyle that a lot of people want to live. But you know what? That man lived an interesting every single day was an interesting day for Nigel Gruff, and I don't think he's still alive. That's why I'm talking in the past tense. And my honorable mention, just for the fans, is Uncle Rico because he throws footballs over mountains. All right. Yeah, I think that's pretty much going to wrap it up for episode 2 of the Sports Chill Football Experience, sponsored by TheSportsChill.com, Fire, and everybody's favorite people.
Yeah, I just have one more thing
Go on.
before we get out of here.
Yep.
So earlier this week, there was a story that Todd Bowles said he used to eat McDonald's like 4 times a week when he was a player. Really just ate some nasty, some like straight up junk food, and it makes you wonder. Like it shows you how much freak athletes these guys are, because even back then they were able to still perform at that level eating food. So what I want to know for James and for Mark, what would be your pregame meal if you were going out there getting ready to play every Sunday?
So I didn't know we were going to get into my eating habits because I've been a little bit down on this lately. I gained like I usually don't stat check, but I've been beginning to stat check on the scale, and I've gained 10 pounds since the ankle injury. So you know what I'm going to start doing next week? I'm gonna start giving out a report how I did. Did I lose any weight for you guys? But to your question, Terrell Owens did the same exact thing. The guy was a freak. These guys are not human beings. The only person that like needs to relax a little bit is JJ Watt, because I'm sure he doesn't eat any fat. Like he doesn't eat anything that is saturated or anything like that. I don't know, Mark. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with that. JJ Watt needs to relax all his workouts and what he's got going on. I mean, for a pregame meal, I usually don't eat anything big. I usually eat something light, but if I was one of those freak athletes like them, I'd have a nice big plate of chicken parm, some rigatoni, some nice medium sauce there. That's what. Sorry, James, I know you're watching the weight, but that's something that I would definitely attack for my pregame.
Yeah, and you're totally allowed to fat shame me. We're gonna start it next week. We'll have a segment called "Let's Fat Shame James," and I got to get this weight off because I come home at 7:30 at night, and what do I want to do? I don't want to go work out. Yeah. And I leave too early. My commute's like an hour and 40 minutes, and it just gets crazy. It gets crazy. So, maybe you start fat shaming me. Maybe I'll eat a salad. Maybe I'll take a shower too. Who knows? All right. Do you guys have any other thoughts?
I think that's it. 2-0 in fantasy. So, fast start for me. Loving it so far.
No one cares about your football.
Listen,
your fantasy teams.
No one cares.
I was going to give you credit, actually. I was going to say the FanDuel, Fire,
yeah.
Great job on that, but no one cares about it, so we'll just skip over it.
No one cares about your fantasy, but everyone should care about the FanDuel articles because James is 2 for 2 on the money. So if you want to win some money, check out the FanDuel articles. Usually end of the week, maybe Friday or Saturday or Sunday morning, whenever they're going to come out. But make sure you check them because 2-0, James is in the money right now. So if you want to make some dough. Well, 4-0, 2 weeks in a row, you won me some money. So I owe you a beer, I owe you a cheeseburger or chicken parm, whatever you want next time I see you.
Or a shower.
All right, yeah. I'll try to keep it up. And like Mark was, I had a few things to do this weekend, and Mark was on me a little bit. He was like, dude, when's the article coming up? When's the article coming up? A little bit inebriated. I already have my team ready. Like, I'm not going to do that for the fans. A little bit inebriated. Wrote the article at 6 a.m. So, the blog doesn't sleep. The blog's not sleeping. All right?
Calling plays the line of scrimmage. I like it.
And you know what? And I don't care about your fantasy team, but I do have to give you a little clap because great editing last week. And when this comes out, I'm sure it'll be great again. Guys, I'll talk to you later. Peace.
Take it easy.
Later.